everybody, welcome on my channel. This is the first devlogs of Deus Ex Human Revolution. So, what engine am I using to recreate that game? The answer, Unreal Engine. Why? Because I think it's one of the best free or kind of engine available to everyone. So actually some months ago I did some practice with it, and yeah, I thought I could try to make a simple project, which I did, but just for test my skills, and that's it. So why am I recreating Deus Ex then another game? Because at that time I was playing again Deus Ex Human Revolution on my computer. So I thought let's try to recreate this game on Unreal Engine. Am I going to recreate the entire game? No, I'm not, because this kind of game is still too big and complex just for one guy. What am I going to recreate on Unreal Engine? I'm going to recreate the entire map of Detroit with some changes and taking some inspiration from the real city of Detroit. I'm going to do also augmentation system, inventory, hacking minigame, locomotion system, reading of files and ebook system, user interface, tab menus, object manipulation, which include grab, release, rotate and throw an object, and of course I'm going to recreate a shooting system. What about enemies? The main enemies will be robots, just because create human characters is pretty difficult for me, because I need to create everything from zero. But yes, maybe in the future I will add human characters. Am I going to recreate a multi-question and answer system? Just in particular cases. You could find that kind of system when you talk with about a system inside the Deus Ex world during some mission about investigations. Is this project free? Of course yes, I'm recreating this game just for fun and to improve my skills. I will be glad to share for free with everyone my project. So now let's see what I did so far. First of all, I made the tabs menu. And yes, I'm still working on the augmentation system. And yes, I'm going to add some changes. Just my personal touch. Anyway, I made all animation for each part of the body, which are cranium, torso, arms, eyes, back, skin and legs. I'm also working on the saving of process, so for example, when we buy an augmentation, the game are going to remember that, and for now we can just buy augmentation about legs, but other parts of the body are not available yet. Of course, we can buy augmentation using praxis credits. We can just get them doing missions and side quests. And yes, when we buy an augmentation, we are going to spend credits. So when the credits are not enough, we can buy just nothing. In particular, we need to unlock some augmentation to unlock others' augmentation. So we need to follow a logic. In fact, as the original game, we need to follow the logic of the arrows. And that's what I recreated on my project. Of course, this does not represent the final version of the game, because I need to make everything better. I also added some sounds. They are just the same sounds of Deus Ex Human Revolution actually. I recreated the stamina system as the original game of Deus Ex Human Revolution, and as you can see, that stamina bar is about running. Of course, that bar could be augmented using the praxis credits. As the original game, if the main character is crouched, we could sprint when we want, and of course we can crouch during the run. But as you can see, the speed will decrease because we are not running anymore. I made the same animation about the 3 arrows on the top of the bar. We can also jump while we are running, of course. It's possible to improve the jumping on the Augmentation tab menu. As the original game, we cannot sprint if we press a different key than go forward, so we can sprint if we press the key W and Shift. If we are not running, the stamina bar will be recharged itself. How can we activate the stealth mode while we are walking? It's pretty simple. We can activate it just pressing the key Ctrl right while we are walking, but we will still make a little bit of noise. So how can we walk without any noise at the same time? We need to crouch and press Ctrl right, so in that way we could walk, stay in stealth mode, and nobody could hear us walking around the environment. So, how can we crouch? Just pressing the C key and the character is going to crouch. I think I made a good crouch, the animation is pretty smooth, and the timing is fine, so it's not too fast or too slow, just in the middle. But yes, if we are crouched, the enemies will have difficulties to see us, so it's a good tip to stay crouched if we are in a place full of enemies. Anyway, I'm going to add an indicator which will tell us how much noise are we making, so that's pretty good. And yes, we have to buy an augmentation if we want run without sound and still stealth. And yes, the jump will make noise. As you can see, we have an indicator here which tells us if the character is crouched or not. I take that from the game Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and I think it's a good indicator, so that's why I added it. But I made some changes. In fact, in Deus Ex Mankind Divided, if we are not crouched, the indicator will fade out, which can be best thing, but honestly I think it's better for my project. Don't fade out the indicator, but just decrease the transparency and that's it, which I did as you can see. I made battery and health bar and they are ready to be runnable. In fact, I'm making enemies right now, robots in particular. I have great ideas on this project and I'm making very new stuff, just because I want to innovate or at least give to Deus Ex a fresh look. I'm recreating the hacking minigame. Of course, I got my inspiration from Deus Ex Human Revolution. I made the zoom in and out system. We can move in the canvas and travel around the widget, so we can go up, down, left and right. As the original game, we cannot travel in the widget without limits, and that's what I recreated as you can see on the video. One of the problems that I had to solve was setting a travel limits for each value of the zoom. Another thing that I made is the arrow which indicates the direction when we travel in the widget. I got that idea from Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I think it was a good thing to have in my project, so I did it. We can move in the widget using wacth, so WASD, and we can zoom just using the mouse wheel. Another thing that I made is the ebook system, which is a widget where we can read some information about the environment of the game. As the original game of Deus Ex, when we grab an ebook, there is a little animation which introduces the widget. Well, that's not the only animation because there are more, and they are chosen by a random logic. And that's what I recreated in my project. I made 3 animations and they are chosen every time by a computer logic when we grab the ebook. The same animation will be run in reverse when we want to play the ebook. I'm going to add in the game daily papers and pocket secretary as the original game. When we are reading this kind of documents, the game will be not on pause. Different situation when we are in the tabs menu. So for example, if we are doing stuff on the inventory, checking the map, or just buying an augmentation, well, in that case, the game will be on pause. I'm also making the security terminal, but for now I just made the screensaver, and I think it's a good one, very similar than original one. Remember to follow me on my social media if we want more updates. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. Have a lovely day and see you next time.